Hey, welcome back to Inside the Mind Shift. I'm Corey, where I share my personal experience, having worked in tech for more than 25 years, how AI is changing just the way I think. This is not to make you an expert of AI, that's on you. You can figure that out on your own. But what happens to us right now? What is this shift inside the mind shift? Today is episode 2, so I just want to talk a little bit about AI and my identity. I remember when AI first came out, I started and I used it heavily, as I do now. And I remember that I started telling people as I'm replacing myself, it's a bit dramatic, I understand that. I always thrived on theatrics and being a bit dramatic, so it was tongue-in-cheek. I figured I would just say what people were talking about, what scared people to death. And I was like, yeah, I'm just actively replacing myself. But the more I went down that road, the more I realized, well, as much as it sounds right, there's this digital Corey looking back on me on screen that is able to take a lot of this information that I work on all the time and process it and give me an output that I would have normally done as a human. That's really not replacing myself. It looked like it at first glance. It didn't feel like it for sure. It was a very eye-opening experience. Well, I think what happened, in fact I know what happened during that time, is all of this information, all of this data, all of this analysis that I used to do also used to draw from it just gave me cognitive overload. So it was, you know how it is during the day. If you work as the day progresses, you get less fresh. I mean, there's some people that say that in the afternoon they feel alive, right? Well, the vast majority of people that I know, and to include myself, is when you wake up in the morning, your mind is fresh. You get your cup of coffee. Still drinking my cup of coffee here. You get in. You have fresh ideas about topics at work and about projects that you're working on. And as the day shifts and the day moves on into the afternoon, you become less fresh. You become more, robotic. Or I say in the morning I'm a thinker, in the afternoon I'm a doer. So I perform all the tasks that I thought about either in the morning or that I proposed, and I see if they work. That began to shift for me. Is the morning thinking was still there, but that thinking used to revolve around how to process all of the information that I was working on. Now that was something that I offloaded into AI. And I didn't go into using AI as though I'm going to offload all this. I just started offloading because I found that AI is like a room full of experts to me. I didn't have to consult with so many human resources that I used to do, and reach out to the team or reach out to other people in industry and get input on it. I had that available to me. Yes, there was some heavy checking going on if it was accurate, but since I was an expert already on those topics, the thing I noticed is the output I was getting back from AI was accurate. I was like, oh, this is great. Well, when you experience something like that, you start asking more. You start telling it to do more. You start training it to think like you and what is important to you. And the natural progression is you offload all of that. Well, now my morning thinking that used to be spent analyzing information that drained me out so that in the afternoon I just became a bit robotic in doing those things, I was able to remain fresh for a lot longer. So no, I was not replacing myself, because this new human Corey was very different than the digital Corey. But I never articulated that. In fact, I've never actually articulated that until right now. Right now on video. So what is now built into my AI profiles? The way that I do things, the tasks that I perform, the way I think, my tone, my responsiveness, the team that I lead, what all of that is not the same as the person sitting right here in this chair. The person sitting here in this chair is much more attentive, much more available, a different thinker. In fact, I feel myself thinking about things I've never thought about before. And I've even noticed that in this last week, I am able to detect things that I've never quite seen before in human behavior, in others. So I'm more present. And this lasts a whole lot longer. So it's a very curious experience for me to step back and say, I wonder why I detected that that person is behaving that way when I've worked with that person for more than a year and I never saw that. Was I clouded? So these are the questions that I go through. Was I clouded? Was I biased? Was I just so unavailable that I didn't have time to do it? It may be one or all three of those, and there may be more that I missed. The fact is, it's an output that's real. And now I have the time and availability to actually dig deeper into that. And that's what I'm doing now. So an even greater mental availability has started to bubble up in all of this. And then when people start sending me information, the same amount of information they used to send for analysis or advice or feedback or whatever, I now can look at them and say, you need to make that either easy for me to understand or assemble that into a document, clearly articulate what you want me to consider, and then I will. I've never done this before. So I'm practicing what AI has done for me is it's allowed me to practice prioritization. It's allowed me to push back on people that don't do due diligence. They want me to make their decision, and the answer is no. No, because once you experience the relief of offloading all of that data, the relief of being able to think more clearly, the relief of having a complete thought and make better decisions, you don't want to go back. And you don't go back. And so in my mind, I become a better leader for those around me by pushing back on them and saying, you need to explain this better. I understand how that sounds coming back to them, but it's the best way to lead is to offer good, candid, solid feedback so that others also grow, not just me. So there is a growth factor that's beginning to take place as I go through this identity. Is it a shift? I know that this whole thing is called Inside the Mind Shift. I'm shifting what was an identity of heavy processing away, and my true identity is starting to come out. My true humanness is starting to come out. I'm able to express an emotional component to my job. I've noticed that in just dealing with teams now, when I talk to them, I'm much more prone to hear and listen. I now observe even when people are trying to get their point across, they step on each other in conversation. And I'm like, wait, stop. You go first. We'll come back to you. All right, good. You're done. You'll go back to him. You'll go back to her. I've never done this before because I've been in a mode previously where so much information needs to be explained in such a short period of time that everybody just kind of blasts everybody. And at the end of the meetings and at the end of the brief or the debrief or whatever it is that we're doing, everybody walks away just blasted, and it's hard to identify, well, what are we actually doing? How did we move the needle here? Very different experience, for sure. So no, it's not replacing me at all. And for those that are here at the beginning of AI, afraid that they're being replaced, it's only going to replace you if you truly believe that you have nothing else to contribute except just volume. You're just a processor. And we shouldn't live like that. What a great experience for me. What a great shift for me. And I will dig into this deeper. I will look into this more. I will figure out what this means for me. I'm sure it's transformative. I just don't see it yet. That's it. That's it for this episode. That the identity is not a shift. It's the surfacing of a real identity. Hope the same happens for you. Let me know. Inside the Mind Shift. We'll talk soon.